All right, so this is Sanctorum Animae number 18, and I wanted to give you a quick update on this mural. I didn't realize I let a couple days go by, and since last time I did a video, and it's interesting how fast time can slip by you if you're not paying attention, which is a big reason why I wanted to upfront make a commitment of doing this daily. Because just like anything else, if you let it go 1 or 2 days, and then all of a sudden you let a week go and a couple weeks, and then you're looking at your project wondering, whatever happened with the time. So anyways, I want to get back to this and give you an update. I worked on the background behind Eve. I'll give you a little close up here. As you can see, I worked on the branches and put in a bunch of leaves and fruit, including the main fruit there is a pomegranate, and also put halo around her and some lines kind of emanating out from her. And I want to wait to finish the wings, because the wings from the cherubim are going to come out into this area. So I didn't really touch this area yet. Wanted to define those wings before I finish those other background details. So got a bunch of this done pretty much this morning. So wanted to catch you up on that. And then also, as I was drawing the last couple of days, just really thinking about, once again, my interest in Eastern Orthodoxy. I brought this up before. It's something that is a theme that comes up in my life right now, and just thinking through Orthodoxy. There's a lot that I'm interested in with that, a lot that I'm attracted to, mainly on the aesthetic side and also the historical side, which, as I've done some research, that's what draws a lot of Protestants. But I also am a bit cautious, just because I want to think through what I believe, and I want it to be correct is really what I'm looking for. Maybe not 100% correct, because I don't know if we can all get to that point, but I at least just confident in what I believe. And so I watched a video from a Protestant perspective on history and tradition, and they brought up several really good points. I think on the Eastern Orthodox and Catholic side, there's a really strong emphasis on tradition. And part of that is, I want to say almost maybe not there's an authoritative side to tradition, especially when it comes to interpreting theology and scripture. And there's a lot about that I like, because the emphasis on Protestantism tends to be more individualistic, where we can come up with our own interpretation of the Bible, but we do measure it against history. That, I think, is one thing on the Eastern Orthodox evaluation of Protestant that I think is a bit off, is that we do look at history beyond just Martin Luther. We do look past that. And so I think that's a good corrective, is always to think about and judge your interpretation or how you're reading the Bible against the way other theologians have read it. But we tend to, in Protestantism, have kind of an individual authority, where we can agree or disagree with whoever we want or whomever we want. And so I don't like that aspect of it. But the problem on the other side with putting too much emphasis on tradition is that when you go back and you look at history, many of the early church fathers and theologians disagreed on major doctrines. And so it's very difficult for us to say, as the Eastern Orthodox say, what the church believed at all times in all places. Because there are things such as, and this theologian was bringing up the point about Mary, for example, that there are church fathers that vastly disagree on the identity of Mary and her significance. And if you think about a major doctrine like that, if theologians throughout history can't 100% agree, then we have to really hold tradition with a bit of caution. But we can't rely too much authority on our own individualism either, because we can be wrong too. So it's really a difficult balance, I think. I think on the one side, in my personal opinion, I'll talk about this more later when I actually draw Mary on here, but I think with Mary on the Catholic side, there's an overemphasis of who she is. I think on the Protestant side, there's an underemphasis of who she is. And I like a lot about what Orthodox holds to, but even in Orthodoxy, there's a bit of confusion because, for example, on the Assumption of Mary, there are many Orthodox that would say that that's wrong and even almost slightly heretical, but then there's Orthodox that believe in that. So it's really confusing, I'll be honest with you. And that I think is what a lot of people that are not Christians really take issue with Christianity, is because even on the significant doctrines, sometimes we can't find 100% consensus. And so, I don't know, for me, I just really wrestle with all that, obviously, as you can tell by this video. So anyhow, those were just my thoughts as I was drawing in the last couple of days, just thinking through what do we do with tradition and history, and how does that fit in with our thoughts about theology. So anyways, that's my update, and I will have more coming up soon. Thanks.